you know, you got to get that first win.
As the Bengals get a desperately needed win.
Joe Burrow.
You can never, ever question the guy's toughness.
Gutsy, courageous, tough.
It's good to get one on the board. Now we just got to be 1-0 this week. We haven't quite hit our stride yet, but that's coming.
Blown by Dax Hill. Here comes the rush. Nailed by Hendrickson.
Bam, bam, bam.
Joe finds room up the middle. Touchdown! Coffin now.
We expect to pick things up and find our groove.
Mixon is gone. Yeah, baby.
They've got him. Yeah. They sack him.
Oh my goodness, what a crab. McPherson sweeps the leg. He's got it. Unbelievable.
Undefeated in the white helmets, as the Bengals were on the prowl in primetime. Welcome in to Bengals Weekly. I'm Marissa Contepelli. The Bengals look to ride the momentum and build off of the big win Monday night, as the team now heads south to Music City for an afternoon showdown with a Titans team who hasn't had a win over the Bengals in 6 seasons. So as we get you set for kickoff, we'll welcome in NFL analyst Ross Tucker to the show to preview this long-standing AFC rivalry. We'll sit down with the defensive line who wreaked havoc on Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford as they tell us how their identity sets the standard. And on Countdown, I'll tell you why Trey Hendrickson is a quarterback's worst nightmare. But first, the jungle was jamming Monday night as White Bengal took over Paycor Stadium. And thanks to Joe Mixon finding his way into the end zone, we got to experience our first jungle jump of the season. Let's now head down to field level because we had Joe Dean mic'd up against the Rams.
Whole world watching, so let's show what we do. All we do is make plays. Let's get it, baby. Hey, playmakers on me, playmakers on 3. 1, 2, 3. Yes, sir. You already know what time it is, man. Monday night. Get the fans what they came to see. Hey, I want y'all to know I'm the fans today. I'm the fans today. I come to do a job, though. Hey, I want y'all to know I'm mic'd up today, just so y'all know. Where you at, Cal? Hey, woo! Hey, I'm mic'd up today. Get them something that me. Give them something that they want.
I got you. He had McDonald's today, so he's gonna go for 120.
Down in 3, it's a running play for Mixon. Finds a crease left side and runs for the first down as he fights his way. Burrow looks to throw over the middle, caught by Boyd at the 40, and he charges to the logo.
Hey, keep eating, boy. Two plays in a row. Plug. Good pickup right there. I was definitely about to woo. Aaron Donald, is your score 9? One play at a time. Execute.
Trailing by 3. Burrow gives to Mixon. Joe finds room up the middle. He runs into the end zone. And now he does a jungle jump.
There you go, baby.
What are you talking about, what? Lean on me. Lean on me. Lean on me. Lean on me. They can't stop me, man. You already know what it is. You already know what time it is. Pick that up, boy. Hey, the floodgates is open now. It's time to get to doing what we do.
Burrow throws downfield. Chase catches at the 50. Looks for a cutback and gets tackled inside the 35.
Stop on his ass.
Way to run today.
Way to deliver, dying. Like I always tell people, bro, you the best back in the league, bro. I appreciate that, bro. Stay healthy, bro. Hey, Bengals Nation, shout out to the whole, how long, Joey B? Joey B, bring your ass here, Joey B. Yes, sir, we got number 9 here. Jody, shout out to the whole Bengal Nation. Y'all showed up and showed out in that all white. First up, who they?
5 sacks and a lot of QB pressures. The D-line was feasting Monday night against the Rams. Coming up next, we sit down with some of the big playmakers up front. Bengals Weekly is brought to you by AltaFiber, proud to be the official internet provider of the Cincinnati Bengals. Paycor, proud to be the official HR software provider of the Cincinnati Bengals. And Kettering Health, the official healthcare provider of the Cincinnati Bengals. When they needed them most, the defense stepped up as Lou Anarumo's crew put on a show at Paycor Stadium. Let's relive some of the best defensive moments from Monday's win over the Rams.
Welcome to a whiteout in Cincinnati, where the Bengals are absolutely starving for their first victory tonight.
Energy all day, all day. I need it all, Tito.
Stafford backpedaling, he'll take a sack. Brought down by big DJ Reader.
It's a heck of a stand by the Cincinnati Bengals defense.
Good though. Way to get him out, boy.
Good job, let's come on.
They flip it to Williams on the edge, and he is trapped down and dropped by Dax Hill.
Good job.
Hey, it's loud though. It's loud, so you gotta start signaling. Pressure immediately. Stafford on the move, navigated around but threw it into traffic, and it's intercepted. Logan Wilson, who didn't touch the ground. This may come off. This may be another replay review.
Hey, didn't drop that one. Didn't drop that one. Didn't drop that one, baby.
Just keep saying it. They're not running the football, and the pass rush is starting to get dialed up.
Comes pressure, and Stafford's level. Dax Hill, the safety, came off the edge.
So I want no ups in any games, anything. Talk, communicate.
Stafford will be swallowed up right on cue.
Hell yeah.
Quick snap, Stafford to throw again, over the middle, deflected and picked off at the 22.
Nice.
It was deflected.
Wilson. Go, boy.
And that is coffin nails.
Bam, bam, bam.
The defensive line was responsible for 5 of the 6 sacks the Bengals had on Matthew Stafford, as each starter on the D-line got their name on the sack stat sheet. We now go behind the stripes and take a closer look at why the Bengals' defensive front plays so well together.
We gotta go out there and prove it every Sunday. We wanted to come back into the jungle in prime time. We knew we were gonna have the city behind our back, and we just wanted to give a good performance.
Finish.
Under pressure and sacked by DJ Reader.
Guys have a lot of strong will in our locker room and our defensive room, and they really care about playing for each other and not letting the other person down. Everybody knows their role.
We always talk about playing together, communicating with each other, trying to be in the right spots. You know, we want to win on defense as much as you can.
Hey, let's go. Let's play the game the way we know how it needs to be played, right? Play it on our terms, all right? And have some fun. You got to gang on 3. 1, 2, 3.
I think we like to play with toughness. We definitely want to play with good technique, and we want to play with outstanding effort.
We're on each other. We don't point the finger at what's going on. If something's going on, we talk about it, and we talk about how we can get better from it.
In our room, best is the standard. You know, everybody giving their best. We put that pressure on them, and I think they absorb it.
Put on the show. Win on 3. 1, 2, 3. Win.
Sam, you know, he's a great leader on and off the football field. His communication is huge. DJ, game day, he's a little bit more louder than he is during the week. You know, he gets a little hyped up in there.
Plays rolling, keep that camera going. You know plays gonna be made. Good guys gonna come out on top.
I think other people just kind of feed on that energy. I think he's one of the best interior defensive linemen. BJ's energy is always good. You know, he plays really hard, playing with toughness, you know, and I think people don't realize BJ is a little faster than what people think he is. Trey, I think those guys really get him going, and his motor runs. He plays hard.
He's one of the most prolific edge rushers I've ever seen in my life.
Here comes the rush. Nailed by Hendrickson, who is abusing Zach Thomas. He sacks Stafford at the 12-yard line.
Hey, you gonna smile now?
Hell yeah.
And then we all really cheer for each other. You see when somebody gets a sack or somebody does something, we all do each other's celebration. I think we just all care about each other a lot, and it's not just for reasons of football. I think we truly enjoy being around each other.
Hey, you still talking about 4 minutes? Smile your head down.
We always feel like everything starts with us. We're the first line of defense. The team and also the people on defense are looking to them to create opportunities for everyone.
I think in our room we take a lot of pride in. We got to be the first ones to get it going.
I'm very fortunate as a coach because we have the right kind of guys, but the most important thing is winning.
I think we do it all. I think we cover all grounds. That's the standard. You know, we're going to be there all night. We're going to work. We're going to keep working. We're not going to give up. We're going to fight all game, and we're going to be there. And I think we play with a high level of intensity. We got to set the wall, and then, you know, everybody else has got to build that wall behind us.
When we return, we set our eyes on the Bengals' next opponent as the team travels down to Music City. We preview Bengals versus Titans next, here on Bengals Weekly. Welcome back to Bengals Weekly. Both the Bengals and the Titans enter Week 4 looking to even up their record and get back to 500. Former NFL offensive lineman Ross Tucker now joins Dan Horde to preview Bengals versus Titans.
We are joined by Ross Tucker, the host of the Ross Tucker podcast and a game caller for CBS this year. Let's start with the Bengals coming off Monday night's win over the Rams. Did it change your feeling at all about where this team stands?
Maybe a little bit, Dan. I think they were obviously able to get Jamar Chase involved, which they hadn't been able to do. And I thought Mixon showed some real burst and juice, which I thought was highly encouraging. If Joe can get through this portion of the calf injury, I think the Bengals will be able to break through to the other side and get back to being what they've been the last couple of years.
You played in the NFL. What would you think of Joe's willingness to play if you were his teammate?
Yeah, just really appreciate it. Now, listen, I will say this as a former offensive lineman, a lot of those guys have something bothering them, right? I mean, it's like I always laugh when these people say, are you 100% later in the year? If you're 100% later in the year, what have you been doing the whole time? I mean, you're not going to feel like you're 100%, but he very easily could have sat that one out and said, let's be safe and let's be smart about this. But I think Burrow knew the risk of going 0-3, didn't want to take that chance. And especially, I think the mental toughness, Dan, for him to battle through performing poorly in the first half and just stick with it to be able to lead his team to a critical victory. I think that's what the guys really appreciate as much as anything.
Ross, the defense was awesome on Monday. 6 sacks, 2 takeaways. Does the defense have to lead right now as Burrow and the offense continue to gel?
Well, I think they do, and I think they have been. I'm really impressed by the Bengals defense and have been for the last few years, but they're just a really good group. High-level players in the prime of their career.
So the Bengals are at Tennessee on Sunday. What are a few keys to beating the 1-2 Titans?
I guess I would start with protecting Burrow. They've got some real difference makers up front. Jeffrey Simmons is probably about as good of a defensive tackle as there is in the NFL. So I would say run it enough to keep them honest, and then make sure you're double teaming Jeffrey Simmons and try to get the ball out of Burrow's hands quickly, which, by the way, he does very well. You can't let Henry get going. They're clearly better at home than they are on the road. And if they get a lead and they can just pound away at Henry, that's tough for any defense.
Your schedule is nuts. I appreciate your time. Keep up the great work.
Dan, it's my pleasure. Love hearing you. Thank you so much for having me.
This fall, the Bengals and Ohio Cat will be out at a different high school football game, cheering on our local teams throughout the season. Last month, Houday and the Bengals Stripe Squad were out at Scott High School as the Eagles took on North Bullitt. Students and fans had the chance to win great prizes, including passes to attend a closed practice later this season. Rule your school and be on the lookout for Friday Night Stripes, because the Bengals and Ohio Cat could be coming to your game next. Did your high school win a big football game this past weekend? Then you can nominate your coach now for the Bengals Coach of the Week Award presented by Paycor by visiting Bengals.com/Coach of the Week. Up next, it's time for Contepelli's Countdown, where I'll tell you how safety Dax Hill has emerged in his second year. Stay with us here on Bengals Weekly. Bengals Weekly is brought to you by Betfred, the official sports betting partner of the Cincinnati Bengals, and your local Kia dealers. Visit kia.com to discover movement that inspires. The Bengals defense tallied 6 sacks Monday night, the most they have had in a game since 2019. A big reason for the pressures generated on the Rams was Trey Hendrickson, or more properly known as your quarterback's worst nightmare. Hendrickson was credited with 2 sacks, though he could have had 4 on the stat sheet, as Hendrickson had one of his best performances as a pro, wreaking havoc for all 4 quarters. Monday night marked the first time since 2015 where every starter on the defensive line recorded a sack in the same game, as Hendrickson's pair brought his season total to 3, the most he has had through the first 3 weeks of a season since 2019. Hendrickson generated a league-high 12 total pressures in Week 3 as he recorded a 35.3% pass rush win rate and a PFF grade over 91. Well, Dax Hill has shown why he was the Bengals' first-round draft pick a year ago. Hill's 26 total tackles leads the team, and his 21 solo tackles are tied for 4th most in the NFL. The second-year safety has brought the pressure, stopping defenders behind the line of scrimmage 4 times, which is tied for the most tackles for loss among all secondary players. Hill is the only Bengal this season to have recorded both a sack and an interception. Jamar Chase also had a big game in Week 3, recording a career-high 12 receptions, second most all-time in team history, as 7 of his catches went for a Bengals first down. Chase's 141 receiving yards against the Rams is the most he has had in a single game since his rookie record of 266 back in Week 17 of 2021. It'll be a homecoming for T. Higgins, as Higgins returns to his home state in Week 4, and it's a place where he has thrived at. In 3 career games against the Titans, Higgins has posted 288 receiving yards on 20 receptions, averaging over 14 yards per catch. And in the outing last year in Nashville, Higgins recorded his first NFL touchdown in the state of Tennessee. As the Bengals get set for Week 4, they'll look to continue their undefeated streak. Since 2020, the Bengals are 6-0-1 in Weeks 3 and 4, trailing only the Packers for the highest winning percentage in the league in that span. And as they take on the Titans for a 4th consecutive year, including the playoffs, Zach Taylor takes aim at keeping his perfect mark intact against Tennessee. In fact, you have to go all the way back to 2017 to find the Titans' last win over the Bengals. Contepelli's Countdown is presented by Betfred. And don't forget to visit kingofcincy.com for your chance to win an exclusive game day experience, prizes, and so much more. The Bengals and Betfred remind you to gamble responsibly. It's now time for this week's Kettering Health Fantasy Report. Jamar Chase came up big for the Bengals, hauling in 12 targets, good for the second most catches in a game in team history. His 141 receiving yards brought his fantasy total to over 26 points on the day, posting the highest number by a Bengal this season. Evan McPherson also had a stellar fantasy day. Money Mac converted on 4 field goals, hitting from beyond 50 twice. McPherson's fantasy total hit the 18-point mark. And for Tennessee, Derrick Henry had a rough go in Week 3, posting just 2 total fantasy points after an 11-carry, 20-yard performance against the Browns. In Weeks 1 and 2, Henry hit double digits for the Titans, but historically has been held in check against the Bengals, as he's gone over the 65 rushing yardage mark just once against Cincinnati. Thanks for tuning in to Bengals Weekly. Kickoff between the Bengals and the Titans from Nissan Stadium is coming up. For Dan Horde and our entire crew, I'm Marissa Contapelli. We'll see you next week. Bengals Weekly is brought to you by AltaFiber, proud to be the official internet provider of the Cincinnati Bengals. Paycor, proud to be the official HR software provider of the Cincinnati Bengals. And Kettering Health, the official healthcare provider of the Cincinnati Bengals.